Hey guys, name's Dan, and I was messing around with the layer module in FL Studio. It's a couple of pretty cool things. So, real quick, a sound. All right, so that's 5 FL keys. Now, it's not just 5 keys. Under this layer, and I'll explain how it works real quick, or before after this. But on each of these subsequent children or uh, instruments, you can set the trigger fundamental to be whatever note on the keyboard, right? Now, I think it comes C5. No, let's see. It would be, I can't remember I think it's C4. So you can offset these up and down, and I just did octaves, so um, that way the less dissonant notes and stuff would be happening. And so I did that with all 5 of the instruments. And so you got, you see I got 2 sets here, but you don't have to do that one time because you put down, you put down the keys. You can actually just right click and clone, and then right click and clone. And that way you're not like, it's quicker at least. And then once you get the instruments that you want down to be triggered all by the same note, plus sign here, and right here is the layer. And so you click that, and this guy will pop up. And so he's here, and you take your mouse and you left click over the first instrument that you want, and then you drag. If you need to, if they're not all in a row for you, you can additionally hit shift, left click, and skip a couple spaces if you need to. Alternatively, you can highlight one of these, and you can hit Alt up, and I think it's the left Alt, not the right Alt. For some reason, it makes a difference. So that helps you organize your stuff. So anyway, so let's say you got all your instruments that you want triggered. You've got the trigger note set on these correspondingly to make the sound that you want. And then all you got to do, if you want to do it again, for example, you can right click on the layer here and click clone, and it will make a second layer with all the subsequent instruments that were included in the first one. And not only that, they will also carry within them the changes you made to the trigger note. So all the corresponding ones. Oh, and if you don't want the one instrument you just collected to disappear, you can click off onto something else, and that way we can get both number 3s here. So C5, C5. I didn't change those. Just letting you know, when you clone the layer, it'll also bring the changes in for the trigger notes on the keyboard. So it makes it a bit quicker if you want to do some other stuff. And to that end, you can also, on the layer, it has its own trigger note, which will subsequently alter all the children or instruments that it's playing. And so in this case, I did the G up from the C, and all the notes are, what is that, a perfect fifth off of the fundamental. So unfortunately, you can't trigger both layers with an additional layer, setting the 2 previous layers as children. It won't let you do that. What I mean is to try to set another layer and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to click this guy, hold shift down, click this guy, all right, set children. It just won't let you it's just like what it. So you know, then you can also click Show Children, and it'll all light up all the ones that are associated with this layer. But as you can see, nothing lit up. So ImageLine doesn't offer you that type of power, but maybe one day they will. Anyway, so oh, and additionally, I tried to throw it into Patcher to see if I could do stuff. Layer won't. You can't get Layer to go into Patcher. At least I wasn't able to figure out how. But anyway, so with the second layer being the perfect fifth off from the first layer, you can actually make a pattern clip. And in the pattern clip, you can, obviously you wouldn't have to offset the second to the perfect fit, the trigger note for the layer, but if you wanted to, you could just copy paste and it would make the copy paste simpler. You wouldn't have to pay more attention if you didn't want to. So I got the layer 1 here and then layer 2, and I have them the same. Of course, you could make them a little bit different if you wanted, just to shake it up. But you know, it's up to you, obviously. So so the key layer 2, I put a reverb on too. So so this is, I've just set all of these different instruments in here, these FL keys, to play basically octaves up and down from the C4. So I'm going to put these, show these guys up, show them. Did I do? I did. There we go. So we got all the way down to C2. You can also right click on this guy here, and you can solo, and it shuts everything else off. And even though see, I think I can still click this guy, and it'll, even though this is off technically, the MIDI signal still gets through. But since this is the only one on here, or they're here, none of the other instruments will play. And then you right click and solo it again. It turns everybody on. Even solo, off. Yeah, it doesn't say unsolo, it just says, I don't know. Anyway, so then go back to your layer. And then additionally, you can adjust the volumes of each of these so that maybe your lower notes will be louder than your higher notes. I believe the lower that this is set, oh, yeah, that's the other thing that I noticed. So you can have these off, but if this guy, if your signal, MIDI signal is still on it, it'll still trigger it, even though it's technically off. So I'm not sure what that's about. It's still, I don't know. It works anyways. But the other ones won't be played by the layer. But be mindful when you click on one of these windows, it changes up here back to it. So it'll, if you try to hit your keyboard note again, it's going to be like, oh, what, you know, it's not going to the layer anymore. So it can goof you up. But anyway, whoops. So where was I going? Yeah, the lower that you set the trigger, the higher it plays, because you're setting, let's say you're playing middle C, for example. I think I'm triggering that right. Yeah, C4. So I got C2, but it's playing C4 at C2. but with C4 MIDI information. So it's, anyway, I'm not sure how to exactly explain it, but it just, that's the way it works. Anyway, so there you go for that. Right click solo again. Everybody, oh, and this guy. And then this guy, I just have a Luxverb on it. Just thought it would be cool to play it, just some sounds. Those lower notes, you get a lot more dissonance in there when you try to shove all those harmonics together, so they don't sound as good. But you got to separate the harmonics out further, otherwise you get that dissonant tone. But it depends on what you want to achieve. Anyway, so I thought I'd just make a quick video on how to do this with FL keys and with layers. Makes FL keys actually sound kind of good. And additionally, to the end of cloning the layer with all the subsequent children or instruments that are attached to it, there might be other changes that are included in with that too, besides just the fundamental trigger change that you set. But I didn't go that far into it. But I imagine there's other changes that would be included in the cloning process. So anyways, I hope this inspired some of you to be a little bit creative, give you some ideas at the very least. And yeah, so throw this video a like or not. And yeah, enjoy your day.